so often they're even more than you expect. I felt that way about Jimmy Cagney. I felt that way about Paul McCartney, Pitbull.
Wow.
Okay, my dad loves Pitbull, John. Like, loves
how do you not love Pitbull?
Right.
Hey everybody, I'm Greer.
And I'm Beth.
And today we are so excited to sit down with John Travolta.
Thank you.
And talk about his latest film, The Fanatic, which is in theaters on August 30th.
OMG. Okay, John, so there's so much to unpack with this film. But firstly, you're a man of many characters. What led you to Moose?
Fred Durst from the Limp Bizkit, believe it or not. He's a wonderful actor, he's a wonderful director. And 15 years ago, he wanted to do work with me. He wanted to do film. And he finally came up with this idea. It's loosely based on a friend that he had that was an obsessive fan type guy. And he created this scenario and he submitted it to me. And I just freaked out over the script. I loved it. And I said, we're gonna do this.
Yeah.
We will do this. And I felt like I could do what he needed me to do in it, you know. And he's a very good director. He really helped me a lot, you know. He improvised with me prior to each scene, and
Oh, nice.
you know, it was great.
Yeah.
That's how it happened.
And let's talk about the physical embodiment of Moose. It's a vast, change from your normal self. So what kind of preparation did you do and what kind of choices did you make to create the character
Well,
of Moose?
you know, I decided after reading it that, you know, he's a man-child, but he gets away with more than you would allow any man to get away with. So I had to put him on a spectrum of some sort in order to justify the behavior. And that included physicalities that would support that behavior, and a naivete and an innocence, you know, because I am a fan of people, meaning I think we all can identify with this character a little bit. Who have you loved in your life? What artist or what?
I gotta be honest, I love me some Oprah.
Oh my gosh,
Oprah.
to meet Oprah would
Yeah.
be amazing.
Okay, Oprah. So you're a fan of Oprah's.
Oh, sure.
Now 10x it with this guy Moose, where he's just obsessed, but you can identify with the love. Okay. So this is his favorite movie star, and then he just gets confused because the movie star is a good person, but he's not a good celebrity. You know, and that's what makes it confusing for Moose.
You know what's interesting? Okay, the compassion. Like, I was even thinking this toward the end of the film, like, oh my gosh, how much compassion you have. But then at the same time, you're like, no, Moose, don't do it. So in addition to that, I just want to stick with the physical embodiment really quickly and go, all right, Mr. Travolta, that hair though.
The hair.
Okay, whose creative idea was that?
Okay, so Fred called me and I said, what are we doing? How are we gonna make this guy look? He said, well, the real Moose wears like Hawaiian shirts and shorts. I said, okay, and you know, like kind of bad sneakers maybe. And he said, what about the hair? And he said, I was thinking, what would you think about a little, what's the name of it? Mullet.
Mullet.
I went, ooh, I don't know. I went, oh geez. I said, the 80s mullet. He said, you know, there are different kinds of mullets. I said, oh?
Educate me.
Educate me. So I went through about 150 images.
Wow.
And none of them were working for me, none of them. And then suddenly this guy appears on the internet with the exact haircut, with those exact glasses. And I said, there it is. There's the guy. That's how he should look. And I just had that as the mock-up.
So you just knew it when you
I
saw
knew
it.
it. I knew it.
love that.
That's the guy.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
Well, obviously you've worked with many directors and you've already kind of talked about Fred Durst from Limp Bizkit. You know, I think most people know him from Limp Bizkit. So talk a little bit more about, you know, working with him as a director and what that experience
Well, what he would
was
do
like.
is, because he's an actor, this is a character that you have to get into a zone to get into the believability of it. So I would do warm-up with it. So he would improvise. Hey, how you doing, Moose? You know, and how was your day? And who'd you see today? And blah, blah, blah. And then he worked 2-3 minutes with me, and then I'd go to the crew. I'd go to the lighting. I'd go to props. I'd go to cinematographer, and I talked to them in character.
Yeah.
And then suddenly he would say he's ready, he's there. He'd know when I was there, and he'd just say action, boom, and I'd go in the middle of the scene, start it. And this way, you didn't do a false note.
Yeah.
You couldn't, because you were already
Living in it.
You were living it, and you became it. You see, so.
You mentioned earlier that the character Hunter was a good person, but not a great celebrity. And that brings me to, the thought a lot of people will say to you should never meet your heroes. Do you agree or disagree with that?
Oh, I disagree, because although there might be the person that disappoints you, so often they're even more than you expect. I felt that way about Jimmy Cagney. I felt that way about Marlon Brando. I felt that way about Paul Newman, Paul McCartney, Pitbull.
Wow.
I mean,
my dad loves Pitbull, John.
You can't. How do you not love Pitbull?
Right.
So certain people just go beyond their Barbra Streisand. They go beyond your expectations. So no, I think that, there's always a chance you could get someone on a bad day too, but usually the great ones are great for a reason.
Amen. Amen. Well, John, thank you so much. That's our time with you today. We appreciate it. Fans out there, go check Mr. Travolta out in theaters August 30th as he plays Moose in The Fanatic.